Welcome to Tech Computer Solutions. Today we are going to do exercise 4 of the Excel. So we have this question here which says, enter the information in the spreadsheet below and be sure that the information is entered in the same cells as given, or the formulas below will not work. So we make sure that we fill the exact information in the given cells exactly as it is. So I'll open the Microsoft Excel program. I have already typed this information, so I open the Microsoft Excel. So this is the Microsoft Excel. So I have entered all those informations. So when you open your program, you just type all this information. After typing, you select the whole data we have from cells A to G, then from number 1 to 9. But with this question, we will select from A to H, then we highlight coming down up to number 13. So we have the columns A1 to H13 because we will require all that particular area when we are performing or doing this question. So after you highlight, we click on the borders, then we select all borders. So we have highlighted our information, then we have applied all borders. After that, we will proceed to the next question, which says, you will notice that when you enter the information in the first column, the text runs over into the next cell. To adjust the size of the column, once all the information is entered for the first column, click on the column heading, that is the letter A, then open the format menu, select the column options, then select the autofit selection command. So we will open the Excel spreadsheet, then we click the letter A, and then we have the format here. So when you click the format, you can see that we have the row height, we have the autofit row height, we have the column width, the autofit column width, the default width, and all that. But now for this case, what we need is that we need to apply the wrap text. So we click on this cell here which has this information, then we click wrap text, then you can double click between line A and 2 so that it may auto fit, such that this information here, it fits the cell A1. Then we can select the titles and we bold them. So we bold the titles. After we bold the titles, we go to the next question. Question number 2, which says, enter the formula below into the cell G5 and copy it into cells G6 to G8. This demonstrates the use of a relative reference, for example, cell C5, that points to the contents of a cell. So we are going to enter the formula below into cell G5 and we copy it down to the cells G6 to G8. So we are going to enter this formula here in cell G5. So we go to our program. I click on cell G5 where the G, the column G, meets with row 5. So I click there, then I insert the formula which says equals to C5 times 0.3 plus D5 times 0.3 plus E5 plus E5 times 0.3 plus F5 times 0.1. So I have written the formula which is equals to C5. C5 is this cell here where we have the 94 times 0.3, then we added the D5 which is this cell here, then we had E5 which is this cell here, then we add F5, which is the 90, then we multiply by 0.1. The points means if it is 0.3, it means 0.3. If it's 0.1, means 0.1. So after entering that formula, which is this one, we now click enter. So I'll click enter on your keyboard or on your keyboard. So once you press enter, it gives you this answer. This is the answer we have gotten after entering that particular formula. Now next we are told that we should copy the formula to cells G6, G7 and G8. To do this, click on cell G5 to make it the active cell, then open the edit menu and choose the copy command. A flashing border should now appear around the cell G5. Then now click on cell G6 and drag the pointer so the range of the cells from G6 to G8 are now highlighted. At this point you need to open the edit menu again, but this time selecting the paste option. Notice that when you copy this formula into the other cells, the row numbers of the cells change according to the row into which the formula has been copied. So we go back to our program. You click on cell G5. After you click that, you can right click that particular formula, then you click copy. After you copy the formula, you highlight coming downwards, then you right click again and click on paste. So we copy down that formula and it appears to all the other cells, that is from cells G6 up to G8. Good. Having done that, we can go to the next question. So just a minute, I should check on some few things here. So we have that data. So after that, we go to the next question. Next question, which says enter the information below into the cell indicated. So we click on cell B10 and we type the word averages. So I'll go to my program, then I click on cell B10, which is this one. Then we just type the word averages. We can bold it. So we have just typed the word averages in the cell indicated, which is cell B10. After that, we are told to enter the formulas below into the cells indicated, and these formulas demonstrate three methods for calculating averages for a column of data. So each formula here is demonstrating that we can use a different formula to calculate the average for a column of data. So we will begin with the first one, which is on cell C10. The second one is on cell D10. The third one is on cell E10. So we will begin with the first one, which is on cell C10. Then we will copy down this formula. So I'll go to my program. I click on cell C10, which is this one. Then you write the formula as it is given. So we write C5 plus C6. You can notice that when you write C5, it clicks this cell here. When you write C6, it's going on this cell here. Then plus C7 plus C8. We close the brackets. Then we divide by 4. So we are adding these cells here, which is 94 plus 81 plus 98 plus 95. After adding them, we divide them by 4 so that we may be able to get the averages. So after writing that, you click enter and we get the answer, which is 92. After that, we go to the second one, which is cell D10, and we write or we copy down this formula, which is equals to sum. We open the brackets, we select the range of D5 to D8, then we divide by 4. So I'll go back to my program. I click on cell D10, then I write equal sign, I type exactly as it is provided, which is equals to sum. Then you write D5, apply the colon, then D8, and we close the brackets and we divide by 4. So you realize that when you select D5 to D8, it selects the whole range from this cell, which is D5 to D8. Then you divide by 4, then you click enter. So once you click enter, it gives you the formulas that it gives you the answer that we have derived, that is the averages. After that we do the next one, which is under cell E10. It says that equals average, then you select that particular area. So we go to our program. This is the cell E10, so you insert the equal sign, then you type the word average, you open the brackets, then you select the E5 up to E8, then you close the brackets. So after you type that, you just click enter and it gives us the formula automatically. So this is the formula for the first one, the formula for the second one, the formula for the third one. You can see that we have used 3 different methods to get the averages. So for you to calculate the averages, you can use 3 different methods according to the formulas that have been provided. So we'll go to the next question. Number 5, it says enter the information below into the cells indicated. This will establish the weight each exam is given in a student's final average. So we enter the information below in the cells indicated, and it will enable us to establish the weight each exam is given in a student's final average. So we'll click on cell B12, we type weights, then under C12, D12, D12 and the F12 we enter the information given exactly as it is. So I click on cell B12, then I type weights. I can bold that. Then after that I click on cell C12, I just write 0.3. I click on D12, I write 0.3. Remember I said the point stands for 0 point. Then on cell E12 we write 0.3 and on F12 we write 0.1. So we have entered the information as it is provided. So after that we'll go to the next question, which is question number 6. So we'll go to the next question. Question number 6 says that enter the formula below into the cell G5 and then copy it into the cells G6 to G8. This demonstrates the use of an absolute reference. For example, $C, $12, that points to a specific cell in a spreadsheet. Notice that when the formula is copied into the other cells, the absolute reference remains the same, whereas the relative references change according to the location into which the formula is copied. So we are going to use the absolute reference. This is the use of the $sign. So when you apply the $sign before the letter C and after the letter C then the numbers, that means that that is an absolute reference, meaning that the values in an absolute reference will not change the values. We will use the same values across all the cells. So we will go to cell G5, then we replace that formula with now the new formula, which is this one. So I'll go back to my program. I click on cell G5, which is this one. Now we are going to change this formula. So I type equal sign, then we enter the formula provided. The $sign under your keyboard, you long press shift, then you click number 4 under your keyboard, which will provide the $sign. So it is $sign, C, $sign, you write 12, then we multiply by C5 plus $sign. We have seen $sign is shift and 4 under your keyboard. So $sign D, $sign 12, then we multiply by D5, then plus $E $12, then we multiply by E5, then we add, so we have C, D, E, then plus $F $12, then we multiply by F5. So you can see that we have picked these cells under the C5, the D5, the E5 and the F5. Then we have also picked the weights, which is the weight for each particular exam. For example, the first exam we have the weight which is 0.3, 0.3, 0.3 and 0.1. So after writing that formula, you click enter and you can see that we have this formula here. After getting it, we copy it down to the other formulas. You right click the formula, you click copy, you highlight the cells below where you want to copy the formula, you right click and you click on the paste button. So we have copied down that formula. So when you click on, for example, the next one, you can realize that the cell C12, D12, E12 and F12 is not changing because we have made it an absolute reference. But for the the one which was C5, it has now been replaced with C6, D6, E6, F6, going onwards. So the reference is the absolute reference where we have applying the $, the values are not changing. So after that, we'll go to the next question. The next question says that make the changes to the cell contents indicated below and notice how the final average change. We make the changes to the cell contents indicated below and we notice how the final average will change. Number one, we have cell D5 whereby we are going to replace any value which is there with the new value. Under C7 we replace with the new value. C12, E12, all those values we replace them one by one. So I'll go to our program, then I click on cell D5 where the D meets the 5, so I click there, so I write 74 and go to cell C7 and now write the new formula which is 98. Then I go to cell C12, I replace the 0.3 now with the new formula, with the new value which is 0.25. I click on cell E12, I replace it with the new value which is 0.35. Then again I click still on the E12, I replace it with a new value which is 0.30, and after that I click on cell F12, I replace with the new value which is 0.15. So when you replace these values, you can see that the final average has changed. You can see that all the averages have changed because we have replaced the new values and we have also replaced the weight. So we have new values and therefore we expect to have new values under the final averages. So the values that we have entered has altered the average that we had earlier. So we have now the new final average. After that, we proceed to the next question, number 8. Just when you thought you were finished calculating final grades, you realize that you forgot someone. You know that quiet student that always sits in the back of the room, and now you can start all over or simply insert a new row for the forgotten student. So we are going to move the cursor in row 6 and we click once on any cell in this row or the row heading. We open the insert menu, select rows options. Notice how a new row is inserted after row 6. Also check the formulas headed in the cells D11, E11, G5, G7, G8 and G9 have now all changed to accommodate the newly inserted row. So we'll go back to our program. So they see that we click on the row 6. After we click row 6, we right click on the row 6, then we have the option for insert. So you click insert and you can see that we now have a new row which has been inserted to accommodate the new values for the new student who had been forgotten. So you can see that now we have a new row under the row 6, and the other values have moved downwards to accommodate us to be able to insert now these new fingers. So after that we go to the next question, which says, now number 8b, now that an additional student has been added to your grade book, the formulas used to calculate the averages for exam 1 and 2 are incorrect. This is because these formulas still assume only 4 grades are to be averaged. To correct this, we copy the formula in cell E11 to cell C11 and D11. So this means this formula here for calculating the average, we are divided by 4. Initially we had 4 students, but now we have added a new student, which makes it 5 students. So for this formula it is not changing because we had instructed it to divide by 4. So for us to get the new formula and the correct formula, we'll come to this formula here under cell E12, which is average, which now highlights the whole formula, the whole cells. So we copy this formula, then we highlight C11 and D11, we right click, then we click paste. So we have copied the new formula such that when you click on cell C11, you can now that we see we have the new formula. When you click on D11, we have the new formula. Now this formula will be able to accommodate any other values that you may be able to enter into those given cells. So after that, we'll go to the next question, which says, now enter the information below in the identified cells, and A6, B6, we enter all these new values. So I'll go to our program, I click on A6, then I write the new values. So I will enter the new values. Okay. So I'm going to enter the new values. So it will allow me to write the new values very fast. So I have now entered the new values, and we are told that notice that the exam averages change when the new student grades are entered, but a final average is not automatically calculated for him. This is because the formula was not copied into that new row. So we are going to copy the formula in the cell G5 now into the cell G6, and now your grade roll is completed. Then your final spreadsheet should look like the one below. So I just copy or drag down the formulas so that now it will fill the averages for each particular student. So you can see that we have these values here, the averages, and we have these averages here. So our final spreadsheet should look like this one below here. So we'll open this one. So you can see these values. So our spreadsheet now, after doing all those calculations, should look like exactly like this one. You can see that the first final average is 85.9, 76.8, we have the 91.65, 89.3, and 92.505. So I'll go back to our program, and you can see that we have the exact values as the ones provided. So having checked that, we'll go to the last question. We'll now go to the last question, which says number 9, we are going to use the if statement, can be used to automatically assign letter grades to each student. So we enter the following formula. This formula is enabling us to give the students the grade. So under the H5 we are going to write this formula. So I go back to my program, so I can click on the H4, I can write the title grades because we are calculating the grade. Then I write the formula which is provided, which says if we open the bracket, we write G5. G5 is this final average here. So we say if G5 is greater than 89, comma, you apply the quotation marks, you write letter A. So this means that if this final average will be more than 89, then the student will have a grade which is A. Then we write the next formula which says if we open the brackets, again we click on the G5 is now greater than 79, comma, we apply the quotation marks. The quotation marks, it's whereby we have the output or the answer that we expect to get. Now it will be B. Then we write the next formula which says if we open the brackets, click again on G5 is greater than 69, then the final output should be C. Again, if click the G5 is greater than 59, then the final output should be D, comma, and if not D, it should be F according to the formula that is given. So we have opened brackets 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So we close our brackets 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So after closing our brackets, we click enter. You can see that the final average here is 85.9, which is above 79, and now the grade is B. So after that, copy the formula in cell H5 to cell H6 through to H9. The if command evaluates the first logical text whereby G5 is greater than 89 if the statement is true and A is assigned. If the statement is false, the next logical statement is evaluated. For example, G5 is greater than 79. To place an if statement inside another if statement is referred to as nesting. Excel allows you up to 7 if statements. To save the grade sheet on your desktop, open the file menu, select the Save As command, and enter the following name at the blinking cursor in the shaded box and save it as Excel 2. So I'll copy this formula. I just right click, copy, then I select where I want to copy that particular formulas. I right click and click on paste. So we have the 76, which is C, we have the 91, which is greater than 85, 89, and automatically gives us a value or grade which is A. We have this value here, final average, which is 89, 92, so these values are grade A. Then the 85 is grade B and the 76 is grade C, according to the formula that we have just used, whereby any value greater than 89 is A, and final average greater than 79 is B, and if final average is more than 69 is C. So it follows that specific formula for us to get the grades. So we are done with our exercise 4. I thank you for watching this video. and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share with your friends. Like and comment. We'll be sharing more information in our next video. We'll do Excel exercise 5. Thanks for watching and welcome once again. Thanks.